Good evening, everybody, and welcome. My name is Cynthia, and I help direct the events here at Strand. For a little bit of history, Strand was founded in 1927 by the Bass family over on 4th Avenue's Book Row. Stretching from Union Square to Astor Place, Book Row gradually dwindled until, after over 91 years, Strand is the sole survivor, still run by the Bass family and still housing new and used books. Tonight, I'm excited to welcome Christine Riccio, the wildly popular booktuber behind the Poland Banana Books channel, where in addition to her book reviews, sketches, and more for her over 390,000 subscribers, she's chronicled the creation of the book we're here to celebrate tonight. Again But Better is her first novel, described as fantastic by the best-selling Colleen Hoover, who is Christine's fellow Strand Events alum. I couldn't be more thrilled to welcome Christine to discuss the book with Emma Giordano, another returning Strand guest, whose YouTube channel, Emma Books, has garnered 165,000 subscribers eager for her musings and reviews of the latest books. Please join me in welcoming them to Strand.
Thank you for making that.
Hi, everyone.
Hello.
Thank you all so much for being here. I'm so excited to welcome Christine.
Very intimate in this space. Hi.
It's a very cozy but exciting.
I also really like your watermelon ensemble. It's amazing. I figured.
So first off, congratulations on being a New York Times bestseller.
Thank you.
Yes, please give her an extra round of applause. So why don't you start off by telling us a little bit about Again But Better?
A little bit about Again But Better. So my elevator pitch has been heard many times, I feel like, but here it is again. Okay, so Again But Better. Nice. So Again But Better is a rom-com coming-of-age story about a 20-year-old girl who's in college, and she's having a really kind of shit time of college. And she doesn't have any friends, and she doesn't feel like she has much of a social life. She hasn't had any romantic things happen to her, and she's feeling really sad and frustrated. And she wants a chance to kind of restart and try again. And so she decides to do this London Study Abroad program, and we kind of go from there. She also enrolls in a program that's kind of irrelevant to her major and lies to her parents about it, and we go from there. No more spoilers.
Christine does not like spoilers.
I don't like anything to spoilers. Go into everything blind and just believe me.
So, of course, on your channel, you've been very vocal about clearly your love of books, but also movies and TV.
Yes.
So I'm curious if you had to give us one book, one movie, and one TV show that would make Again But Better.
Oh, I can't say.
You can't say.
Spoilers.
Okay, fair. Spoilers. All right.
Natasha asked me a very similar question.
Oh, really?
I was like, no. It's literally opening, the book just came out.
Fair. So as you have been a reader for quite a long time, at what point did that love of reading turn into that love of writing? Or is that something that you feel always went hand in hand?
So, I've always loved writing. And I went to school for film and TV, and I thought I was going to pursue screenwriting. So that's all the courses I took were screenwriting courses. I took the creative writing course. There was only one creative writing course available, which was very, very sad. Yeah. But anyway, I took all these screenwriting courses, and I graduated and wanted to write a book after doing all these scripts. And I just written 2 feature-length scripts, and I could not get words to come out of me for a book, because there had to be so succinct in a script, and it just was not happening when I tried to write this book about mermaids. After I graduated, it was just not going places. But then after 5 years of solid reviewing and reading books, I was out of the script zone, and I could explode words onto page. Too many words. If you were there watching the series, that first draft was ridiculous.
So I'm curious, I think many of us know that Again But Better is a story that's very near and dear to your heart. So was it your first ever novel idea that you decided to pursue?
Well, I had the mermaid idea. And I was like obsessed with it for a little bit, but then it died. And that's, I think, also just like a writer issue that like happens a lot. You start a book and then you lose interest in it as you're writing it, or like after you write the first draft, you're just like, I don't want to do this anymore. Mm-hmm. And that's why I think it's really, really important to find the story that you love, love, love. That means so much to you that you're going to fight for throughout the entire writing process, because you have to live with it for such a long time, and if you're not extremely passionate about it, then you are going to drop it. And that's where like I feel like that issue comes up a lot, because you haven't found the one, you know.
So what about Again But Better made it the one?
Well, that's kind of like what inspired this, I guess. And a lot of things did. And I feel like I've talked about it recently in a video, and I don't know if you guys have seen it. I was just like crying the whole time.
It was glorious. I loved it. It was so sweet.
But another big thing that inspired it was when I was like 23, so I had studied abroad when I was 20 as well. And it was a dark time in my like college years. I was just very, very sad and lonely and all that stuff that I've said before. And I decided to study abroad, not because I necessarily wanted to, but because all my like friends, my acquaintances, were studying abroad. They were all leaving. And I was like, if I stay here, I'm going to end up even more alone than I already feel. And there's a film and TV program over there. So I was like, I guess I might as well do it. And it was the best decision ever. It completely just forged me into the person I am today. And I couldn't see that until I was like 23 and had some perspective. You need some perspective to see like what has changed your life, like I didn't know Twilight was gonna be like my life pivot point until like 8 years later. And so study abroad was another one of those things for me. And I, at that point, talked to everyone I know in my real life. And I was like, oh my God, you should study abroad. It's going to do this and this and this and this. You have to. Nobody studied abroad. Not my sister, not my cousins. Like nobody did it. And it was very, very upsetting. And like, I just wanted to like kind of share like how amazing this experience has been and how life-changing it could be to put yourself out there, even if you're really scared to do it. Doing it can change everything for the better for you. And that's another reason why I wanted to write this book. I just kind of wanted to encourage people to, because I know throughout my 10 years on YouTube, I've met so many young girls and young women who I see myself in, like they're telling me everything that's going on in their lives, and I see like I was in that same spot, and I wish I had this book just to like that. This is the book I wish I had when I was in college, to just like encourage me and like tell me I'm not the only one going through this. And because everyone's a teenager in every single YA book ever, in that like in 2010, like everyone. Yeah, so this is the book I needed, and it's in the author's note. I don't want to repeat myself. Yeah.
Don't want to say that again, but better.
It would be again, but worse, because I don't have it in front of me. Like, I didn't get to write the little essay.
So while we're on the topic of studying abroad, I'm curious if there is anything from the book that you feel like you took from your real life, and if there's things that like you totally made up that like did not occur at all.
What are you saying?
So like, like what's something like an event or maybe like a person that like is in the book that you actually experienced, and something that is like totally you creatively made up.
Okay, so I mean, I did study abroad, and I did go to all the places that she went in the book. So like, I didn't want to write any place that I hadn't been, because I couldn't get the details right. So if she goes there, I've been there. And like, that's why I don't write fantasy, because I can't head over there and check it out, So yeah, so like I went to Rome and I went to Paris, and spoilers. She goes to Rome and Paris. And I lived in London, and I lived in the area that she lives in because I was like, I know the area, so like that's why I can get all the little snippets right and all that stuff. And something that didn't happen. I mean, I didn't work for. She works on an internship for a travel magazine, and she does a lot of stuff that I didn't do. So like it's fiction. Like,
yeah,
but
sure,
like
it's not identical.
But it's just like every place I've been there. Yeah.
Cool. So you mentioned earlier that this book was ridiculously long to start, and you definitely cut some of it down. So I'm curious, like, what has that process been like letting go of certain scenes, or I believe you've even mentioned maybe some characters.
Yeah. So that process takes time. When you like write a giant draft, you can't see what's wrong with it until you give it at least a month and come back to it. And that's my advice. Like anytime that happens and you finish a draft, give it a month and then come back to it, or else you're just going to go through it and drive your brain crazy and lose like consciousness of what's going on in your book. And when you come back after a month, like sentences start to float out and you're like, oh, this is shit. Cut. And then like sections start to float out. Like it gradually starts as sentences, and the more you get into it, then you start to see like entire chapters. Like this is irrelevant. Oops. And you chop it, and you slowly work your way down. I think like every draft I cut like. I don't know, the first draft I cut nothing. But like after that, and I was trying really hard, I like got down like 10,000 words and 10,000 words. And to put this into perspective, I think the first draft was 140K.
Oh my gosh.
A typical contemporary is 70 to 90K. So that was batshit. And it took a lot of drafts to get it down to what it has ended at, 111K, I think. Mm-hmm. I was really proud of that number. It took a lot.
So it doesn't seem like it's, it seems like cutting it down was really, really necessary for you and allowed it to be the book that you needed it to be.
Yeah, it would have been just like a ridiculous ramble. Like, it's just like anything that happened to her. I was like, let me explore this and write an entire side story.
So I've noticed that you've gotten some pretty cool endorsements from some authors that happen to be your favorites. I see like Colleen Hoover blurbed it. I've seen others talking about it. So like, what has that experience been like watching these people who have inspired you for so many years, like welcome you into their little circle of being an author?
It's been great. Colleen Hoover has been so nice to me, and I'm like so grateful for her. She's been like just so supportive, and when she emailed me, like she was going through a really like rough patch when I needed the blurb, and I was like, oh, don't worry about it. She's like, no, I'm gonna get it to you, and I felt so bad, but it was so nice of her.
That's so sweet.
Yeah. So that was really, really cool and really, really nice. And she still like texted me when it came out, and like she was so nice. But anyway, yeah, it's been surreal and weird. Like the blurb process is surreal and weird. You don't want to ask people to be like, can you read my book and write something about it that I got on the book? Like it's really uncomfortable, especially like for me who can't even like talk to them in person. I say 2 words and then I'm just like, hi.
Just staring.
Yeah, like it's been my experience with most. I've met Cassandra Clare so many times, but I'm still afraid to talk to her. I'm still afraid to say hi. Like if she's across the room, like, oh, I don't want to bother her.
And she recommended your book. She said that, I think I sent it to you. She was like talking about anticipated reads. Cassie Clare. That's wild.
It's very, very cool.
So now I love a good romantic ship and I love a good literary crossover. So I'm curious if you had to pair any, again, but better characters with other fictional characters, who would be your couples?
Okay. Well, I'd want to put Shane with Dorian because
if
Selena can't have him, someone has to. Manon does not count. And let's see. Someone else asked me this question, and I put Babe with Stefan from the Vampire Diaries.
Oh my gosh.
Because I think they'd be so perfect and wholesome. Yeah. Well, not Stefan when he goes off the rails. So, Stefan.
In the beginning.
Stefan,
the first couple seasons.
Yeah.
What about, like, Pilot?
Yeah, let me see. It's weird. Let me see. I'm like, Atticus, maybe with, like, well, everyone loves Snow Baz together, but I'd like to see what happens with Baz and Atticus.
Oh my goodness.
I think that'd be fun.
That would be a rom-com within itself.
I think Baz would be like very annoyed by Atticus, but also the same way like Simon Snow.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, I think it'd be cute. And who else? Pilot. It's tough to ship the love interest in the book with someone else.
Yeah, because you can only see them with
their person. I mean, maybe with Kath.
I could totally see that with the two of them together.
Yeah.
On the note of characters, so Shane has a really interesting blog. If you haven't read it yet, very unique name, like someone else in our room. So I'm curious if any of the other characters had their own blog.
Oh, okay. I thought you were going to ask me about the name. Tiernan asked me again, but better. Would you rename French?
Oh my gosh!
19?
Answer that too. I want to know.
So like this is my thought process in doing that. So I'm hoping that people outside of my YouTube channel, read this book, and that reference will just like, but I wanted it to be like a nod to all my viewers, like a kind of inside thing with all of us. Like, oh yeah, okay, I got it. Like, because. It's that was it. I wanted it to be kind of like an inside thing because it's weird and yeah. But anyway, the question you asked was, does any of the other ones have a blog?
Yeah. What would their blog?
What would their blogs be?
Yeah.
Okay, so Babe would have a Disney blog,
of course,
and she'd probably have like a Disney vlog. I think she'd like have a YouTube channel. She has a fun personality. She wants to be on there, and Atticus would talk about theater stuff. He'd be like a Broadway reviewer or something like that.
Ooh,
yeah, those are always fun. There's little community for Broadway on YouTube, which is really cool. And who else? Oh, Sarah. Oh, I think she would give mean advice, like the funny kind.
Ask Sarah.
And then I don't think Pilot would do it, but if he had to, he'd do something music related.
Yeah, and probably update it like once and then never
and
touch it again.
Like, no, I'm done.
So now I would say most debut novelists do not publish their first book with the size of the audience that you have. So what has that experience been like, taking all of your viewers along on this journey with you?
I mean, it's been amazing. I mean, that's another thing. I was asked if I would do again, but better, the writing videos. And like the writing videos made writing this book just so much more fun and so much. It was like I had a community of other writers there whenever I needed advice or encouragement. And I would talk about whatever I'm going through, and everyone else would talk about how they're going through the same thing and how they're getting through it, and we'd have conversations in the comments, and like whenever I felt stuck, I'd have all that encouragement, and it was just the best. I'm so glad I did it, and it was just so nice to share everything with all of you. And it was this place to kind of vent about writing stuff, what like some normal people in your life maybe wouldn't understand, but like everyone else in the writing section is like, yes, oh my god, me too, and it's really, really nice.
Cool. So as like the whole point of Shane going to London is to sort of do her college experience again, but better. Yeah. I'm curious if there's anything about your college experience that you feel that you would do again, but better.
Wow.
We love a pun here.
So the thing that I always say that I regret from college is not getting involved in any like extracurriculars, which sounds really like, I don't know why we're programmed to think that they're lame, but I feel like when you're a freshman and it's like, oh, the club meeting thing is happening on the field where you like can talk to everyone about clubs, it feels lame to go to.
Yeah, no one wants to go.
No one wants to go. But it's like my biggest regret is not doing that, because that's how you meet people with similar interests. Like that's how you make the friends. So you got to do it, or else you're just a little lost. And I know it's hard sometimes, especially if you have a hard time meeting new people, but I think it's really, really going to be worth it in the end. And I really wanted to I had in my heart, like, oh, I should do this my senior year. But then I was also like, it's my senior year. Like everyone's already in their little cliques and in their clubs, and is it too late? And so I didn't do it, which was so stupid.
Yeah.
So that's my biggest regret from college. But everything else, I feel it led to where I am right now. Like if I didn't go through that period of like extreme loneliness and stuff, I wouldn't have found YouTube, and I wouldn't have been I was already reading, and that's why I also did reading book too. Yeah. But like, I wouldn't have done YouTube, like I wouldn't have gone through all that character development. You need those lows to get where you are and have the perspective that you have.
So I know that I think it's your most recent writing vlog, you talked about rewatching all of those old videos.
Yeah.
So I'm curious, looking back now, like you are a published author, the book is out into the world. What would you want to tell Christine, who maybe is just making those vlogs in the middle of it, or even like before you started? What's some advice you would give past self?
Outline the book. That's what I've been like. That is my biggest advice to myself. I've been asked this question a bunch the past week, and I'm just like, outlining is the only thing I would tell her, because I had the best experience writing this book, and I don't want to do anything else differently except not have it be 140,000 words.
So you didn't outline to start?
No, I just had like the idea in my head, and I like pantsed. Yeah, totally pantsed.
So would you say, after finishing Again But Better, you were more of a plotter and like you're going into future projects?
No, but I'm forcing myself to do it. Yeah, it's very difficult for my brain, and I just sit there and like, no, you have to. So then I'll end up like kind of writing it like a script, like where they are, what their objective is, and then it's just a conversation down to like figure out what happens next. Yeah.
Cool. And so I know that you are not going to tell us anything because it's still in the process, but I know that you've mentioned that you're working on some new things. So I'm curious, just starting out that second project, what do you feel has been like a big difference?
It's so much harder because you're working on the other project as well. Like Again But Better, I feel like I've been in that brain even throughout these last couple months when I'm like trying to kind of pen down an outline for another book, and it's very distracting because if anything comes up, like write something for Again But Better, I'm like, oh yes, immediately, like put down the other one because the other one's hard because it's not written yet, like it's not there. So yeah, it's just been a very slow moving process, also because I'm forcing myself to outline and my brain hates outlining. Like I put down 20,000 words of this book really quickly, and then I was like, oh, I have to outline the rest of it, and I like if I wrote it, I'd end up with like a 50 bajillion word document, you know? So I gotta, yeah. I have finished an outline, but it's not like detailed all the way through, so I gotta like go through it again. But yeah, so it's in the process, and it's two perspectives, which I'm excited to like challenge, accepted, next level of writing, you know, like, and yeah, that's cool. Yeah. Do we want
to go to
audience questions?
Yeah. So we want to open it up to you guys. If you guys have any questions for Christine, feel free to raise your hand, and I feel you can choose.
You choose, but
you
raise. Yeah, because choosing's like a lot of pressure. But you can go first because you have a question.
Did you have any sort of like cast in mind for the characters of the book while you were writing? Because I know it's like hard to kind of not picture people.
Well, okay, so she asked, did I have a cast in mind when I was writing? And I know some people picture like movie stars in their head when they're reading stuff. I know Natasha does. I don't know. I make up people in my brain when I'm reading. Like, I feel like I pull stuff from probably like a hodgepodge of people I've seen in my life and create a person. And so originally I wasn't like anyone in particular. Like, I can't pick out an actor and be like, okay, yes, them. But I was recently watching Definitely Maybe, and I was like, whoa, Ryan Reynolds would be a great pilot if he was 20. Like, if you rewound him a little bit, yes. But, yeah, so that wouldn't really work. Hello.
If Shane had a pet, what would that pet be, and what would the name of the pet be?
I mean, it's hard for me to say anything but a dog. Maybe she would name it like after a Mortal Instruments character.
Oh my God, yeah.
Yeah, and like she's still in college, so it's like weird to picture her with a pet. But yeah, maybe she'd have a like dog that she saved and named it like Magnus Bane.
Yes. Love that. Yeah.
What's Shane's Hogwarts house?
Okay, who's Shane's? Okay, I can sort everyone because I love doing
sort
this.
Everyone.
Let's do it. Let's do it. Okay, so Shane is a Hufflepuff, which Hufflepuffs are great. Yes.
We need more Hufflepuff main characters.
Yeah, I mean, we've got Newt Scamander, and he's a pretty big character. But anyway, yes. So she's a Puff, and Babe is a Gryffindor, and then we have, oh my God, Atticus. Who? How many of you read the book? I didn't survey that. Oh, okay, cool, a good amount. Okay, so feel free to like argue my point if you think it's another, like, you don't have to just believe me, like you've read it, you can have an opinion. So Atticus, I thought was a Gryffindor, but at every stop they've been like, someone's debated me that he's something else. But do you guys think he's Gryffindor?
I think Gryffindor.
Someone argued me Hufflepuff like very passionately. And then someone argued Slytherin, and I was like, definitely not. What? You guys think so?
Not.
Like their argument was because he likes theater, he's Slytherin. And I was like, what the hell does that mean?
What a bizarre connection to
what? So Sarah, I was having trouble sorting Sarah. I was leaning towards Slytherin, but then I realized that if I put her in Slytherin, then I would have no Ravenclaw, and I was like, I don't know. So I have her as a Ravenclaw just because I need someone there. She can't be Slytherin.
She serves a purpose. And Pilot.
And Pilot. Okay, so Pilot, I was having trouble sorting, like, while I was writing it. I was like, how do I not know where he is? Like, and I think it's because I secretly just didn't want him to be Slytherin, but I think he's a Slytherin.
He might be.
Pilot is Slytherin, and I've accepted it and moved forward. He's a cool Slytherin.
Oh, cool.
Hello.
I have two questions.
Yes.
One is, do you know who your character's godly parents are? And two is, if you had to choose between a graphic novel and a video game adaptation of a Gimba Better, which would you choose?
Interesting. Okay, I think I picked the graphic novel because I unfortunately don't play video games. I'm sorry. I'm sorry. Don't hate me.
I would love an Gimba Better graphic novel.
Yeah. Like, I play Twitter and I play like email, so I can't have a video game. And as far as godly houses, this is hard. I feel like maybe Pilot would be Apollo. And Shane, I was leaning toward Athena, but I don't know. Like, I feel like it's been too long since I've read Percy Jackson, so I can't bring them all up in my mind so quickly. Babe, like, I don't know why I'm weirdly leaning towards, oh my God, Venus. What is her Greek name? Aphrodite. Yeah.
I can see that.
And yeah, I'm not sure. Like, I feel too far from it, and I like don't want to do it wrong, so it's hard.
Yeah.
When you were first writing, and then I watched your writing blogs. You like shared it with a couple of your friends. How did you know it was ready to share with a couple of your friends? Like, how did you feel?
Well, like, these are like my close friends who love me, and it doesn't matter whatever I write. Like
it's gonna be great.
Like, yeah, they're gonna be excited about it. So, I mean, I chose my friend Julia in particular because she is really good at being just like, this is shit, change it. And then I'll be like, okay, so in what ways do you think it's shit? And she'll like have an exact reason, and then she'll help me like work through it. I'll like present an idea, and she'll be like, okay, this, and like, what about if you did this? And like, she always has great ideas because she wants to be a producer, and she's really good at it. So yeah, I always would give it to her after every draft. She read draft 1 3 separate times for me. And she just like never got to the end because she's always reading scripts for work. But like, she still had some great input on draft 1 and the epilogue. I kept giving her that too. But yeah, so I gave it to like my closest friend in the world, the first draft, and she like read the first draft and like glowing reviewed me, even though it was shit, like she was so nice. Yeah, I gave it to like a couple of my closest friends, and they all were really, really nice and helpful. Yeah, that's it. Like, I didn't give it to people that I like didn't trust until it was like a really, really, well done draft. Like, it was toward the end, like draft 6.
I loved all the Taylor Swift references.
Oh, thank you. Yeah. This is a Taylor Swift reference today. The new era.
So 2 questions. One, did you ever consider calling it Begin Again? Because it kind of makes sense.
I see that, but I wouldn't want to take a lyric for the actual title, but I do like that.
Did you try and get it in her hands?
I haven't. I mean, like, that would be. But yeah, I don't know how I would ever do that.
It mean, like, they say that, like, everyone's, like, six steps away from a celebrity. Like, maybe someone in the room, like,
Jenna,
has an unintentional connect.
Like, Jenna Claire has met her. Is that a step?
Yes.
Or, like...
You're what? You're 1 or 2 degrees away from Taylor Swift now.
But are we really? Yeah, like, she got real lucky.
So I was wondering, I noticed that some of the chapter titles are song lyrics.
Yes.
And so what was your title chapter picking process?
My title chapter picking process. So if you've read the book, she said a lot of the chapters are song lyrics, but it's actually all of the chapters are song lyrics except for one that's called Fail. And I was like, it rhymes with the previous chapter, and it's definitely the word fail is in a song, so it's fine. My process there was I took in the first draft and the second draft, I think it was just one mass of words and didn't have chapters, which was insanity. So when I divided it up, I was doing it as I kind of rewrote it and edited it and had music on that I felt went with each scene. And a lot of times I'd end up being like assigning a lyric from whatever I was listening to that chapter. And sometimes I'd just be writing, I was like, oh, you know what fits perfectly here? Annie's, I think I'm gonna like it here, you know? So like that's what the chapter was called. And then, you know, that's basically how it went, unless I like something came to mind and I was like, this is perfect. But I would have songs that I like associate with different sections of the book, and that's how that came.
So, like, with the Again But Better playlist, like,
yes,
the chapter titles are within the songs in it?
A lot of them are. Some of them aren't, because it just didn't feel like it flowed while you were reading it. Like, yeah. I don't know if Annie's in there. Is it? I don't know. And I think there's one from Anastasia, and it's just like, it kind of breaks the flow if it's like Broadway, you know? So,
yeah, I hear that.
Yeah.
Yeah, you can go.
Yeah.
What's Babe's favorite Disney movie?
I knew this at one point. I feel like she loves Ratatouille.
Oh my God.
A lot.
Yeah.
Yeah. She also likes to cook, so.
Any other questions? Yeah.
Oh, very cool. Hello.
So what was the weirdest difference you found between America and...
When I was there, I mean, the most dangerous difference was definitely walking across the street. I don't know how many times I just forgot that. Like, because I would go to another country on the weekend, and then it would be normal. Like, and then you'd come back to the UK, and then I'd almost die again. Or I'd go to the other country, and I finally got used to looking the other way, and then I'd almost die in the other country because I was like the regular way again. So that was hazardous. But the biggest difference, I mean, just like little sayings would throw me off. I remember at my internship, they asked me to go get a bin. And I was like, where am I going to find a fucking bin? Like I'm thinking like a clear Rubbermaid, you know? That's what I'm thinking they're asking for. And I like searched all around like for 20 minutes, and I came back and I was like, I'm sorry, I can't find any bins. And like finally someone told me that it was a garbage can. And I was like, oh my God. So stuff like that tripped me up a lot. Just like the phrase like top up, and I was like, what are you saying? Like you have to top up your card all the time and top up your phone, and topping up is just like filling it up. Like top up your gas tank. Like they say top up instead of fill up or get more. Yeah. Like I don't even know what we would say. Like get more money on your card.
Yeah.
What's something that you did not expect throughout this entire process? Like maybe like making the cover or how things work?
I didn't expect. I mean, I didn't expect how annoyed I was going to be with copy edits. So if you're unfamiliar, copy edits are these like really intricate edits along the story, like every grammatical error edit, but also like the story might be an accurate edit. So for example, they're walking during sunset, and she's like, the sun sets at exactly 7:31 on January 31st. So the timetable is completely off. And like, if you have to change this out. So there was like little things like that every second of my life, and they just grated on me to the point where I was like so just angry at them. Because also, you know, I make up a lot of words, so like every single time there was a made up word, sometimes I wanted it to be there for comedic effect, but like it'd be like, this is grammatically incorrect. And like it would just keep happening. I was like, no, this is funny. So that was just like an unexpected, like I had to keep taking breaks because I'm like, I'm going to shred this. But they're very necessary. But like, for example, also the acknowledgements, I sign off the book saying XOXO, and I said 2018 youtube.com/PullingBananasBooks because it's kind of like an inside joke in the book, like the sign off, that's how Shane signs off. And they thought it was like an error that I had http://youtube.com/PullingBananasBooks as like after 2018 and like put it into the sentence beforehand. So now the last thing you read in the book as the sign off is XOXO 2018. Like that's my name. Like I go by 2018. Like hi, 2018, what's up?
That's so funny.
So yeah, I've been in your book. I am gonna sign XOXO 2018 next teen May.
Right, any other questions?
On your channel, do you have a specific kind of video that you most enjoy doing, like unboxings or hauls or a review or something like that?
My favorite now actually are the writing videos because I find them to be just like I can really just relax and talk about whatever I want to talk about. And over the course, like I've been doing videos for 50,000 years. Like, so hauls have become something that I'm like kind of dread, like how am I going to make this haul different? Like I've been trying crazy shit with my hauls. I don't know if you saw, I did like a yoga book haul and I was like, I'm going to die while I was doing that. Like I felt like I was dying.
But the payoff is so good.
I mean, like, yeah, it was fun to edit, but in the process, I'm like, what am I doing to my body? Like, you don't hold yoga poses for 5 minutes at a time. But yeah, did I answer the question? Oh yeah, writing blogs, yeah.
Did you have another question?
Yeah. So the book takes place in 2011. What was your favorite part about writing it during 2011?
My favorite part was no cell phones.
Oh my god!
I could get away with no smartphones and no apps and no, you have to see each other face to face to really communicate because no one wanted to use those shitty phones because you had to like top up like money. So the only free communication is face to face. Tough luck. And yeah, that was really my favorite part. I liked referencing. I find it really fun to like reference stuff from like, I don't know, like 10 years ago because you kind of forget and it's fun to remember. And I think it just adds an extra like, ooh, cool to like when you're reading.
Yeah. Are there any more questions? Yeah.
If Shane is listening to Hamilton, what would her favorite song be?
Probably. Oh my God, why am I blanking on the song? Angela and Satisfied. Oh my God, probably Satisfied. I think she'd cry and relate.
Yeah.
When you're writing, did you like know how you were gonna end it? Because when I write, I always know how I'm gonna end it, but I don't know how to get there. And there's this like middle section that's just like how do I get there?
Yeah. So I knew like how I wanted it to end, but I actually like kept changing how that ending happened. So you're asking like, does the middle section usually like trip me up? There's definitely like the middle goes on forever. I feel like in the first draft, you're just like, oh shit, this has to happen, this has to happen, this has to happen, and like ends up being so long. And I think that's just like part of the process, especially when you're pantsing. Like, it's gonna happen, but I think you just have to keep believing you're gonna get there. Like it keeps stretching further and further away, but just keep going, and at some point it won't be a mirage anymore. You'll arrive as long as you don't give up on it.
What would you say the easiest part of the process?
The easiest part of the process, I mean, probably like the word vomit of the first month. Like the first month of writing. I don't like, now I can't get myself to write an hour every single day, but I wrote an hour every single day from January to June. Like, I don't know, I was dedicated. But now it's just so hard because I feel like it's because I already have this project. So now like the next one, it's harder because you have two things going on. Yeah.
Do your characters like yoga? And if they do, what are their favorite poses?
So, I added in a little bit at like one point, Shane like tries some yoga to calm down. I don't think she's an expert or anything, but it was just like a fun little chill thing. My 3 favorite musicals? Hamilton, Wicked. Oh gosh. Third musical that I like as much as Hamilton and Wicked is hard. I guess Rent. I was front row at Rent, and it was just the coolest experience. It was like a school trip, so they also taught us the La Vie Boheme hand dance. It was the funnest ever. Yeah.
Let's see. Any other questions? Yeah.
What Gilmore Girls characters would you associate with yours?
Oh, well, Jess, probably for Pilot. I think he's the closest there. And then, I love Jess. Okay. I'm trying to think of like my other characters. Okay, Babe, maybe a little bit of Lorelai and Babe. Yeah.
Oh, I see that.
Yeah. And dude, I don't know, like Suki for Shane. Like Suki and Rory combined.
Yeah.
Okay. If you could pull all of your characters from the book and film a video with them, what kind of video would it be?
Oh my gosh. I mean, how could I not like just direct a scene of the movie if I did that, you know? I'd just be like, okay, guys, so listen, you have to do this and say all these things I want you to say.
Do you have a scene in mind?
No. Spoilers! The opening scene.
Similar to her question, what mortal instruments characters do you think?
Oh my God, this is so hard because people have asked me this before and I always like to skip it because I'm like, I don't know. Because like they're not, I mean, I'd have to pick Jace. I'm just picking like the book boyfriend that I like from every book because it's like, obviously I like put the, like I put like some of those traits into like the book boyfriend in my book. So Jace Pilot, let's see, for Shane, Tessa. She's not technically Mortal Instruments, but I'm using her.
Shadowhunters in
general. And then Babe, I don't feel like Babe couldn't be a Shadowhunter. I feel like she's too wholesome and nice. Maybe like Drew. No, but she like Drew likes like horror stuff, and Babe's like the opposite. And then who's left? Sarah. Sarah would be like an Izzy, I think.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. And am I missing anybody? Atticus. Atticus. I'm just like, who is fun and dramatic? No one. Oh, Magnus! Oh my God, I'm just thinking of like actual Shadowhunters, but like, let's do that, Magnus.
Yeah.
I feel like you might have mentioned this in your writing blogs, but which Taylor Swift era would you say?
Red. For sure, yeah. I like thought about this a lot, and I was like, maybe Fearless, but then I think Fearless is too like, yes, I'm doing it, like, and it's not like intense, emotional roller coaster enough. So Red. And Holy Ground is the song that I have chosen. Yes.
Love that.
If your book ever gets turned into a movie, would you want to write the script for it?
So I would want to have like some part in it, I think. And I feel like since I'm not a screenwriter, it's hard to be like, yes, she has to write the script, you know, and I don't have to write the script, but because that's going to be like really hard. No one's ever going to do that. But I just would love to have some sort of input, you know, like I want to be a part of it, a part of that world. Like I've yearned, I've written the book so that I could hopefully be a part of the movie world.
A follow-up question to that, would you want a cameo in the movie?
I mean, why not? What's the fun if there's no author cameo?
What would each of your characters' favorite YA books be?
Favorite quiet books?
YA.
Oh, YA books. Okay. Quiet books. What is that? Well, Shane actually talks, well, I guess, Shane talks about her favorite books. I feel like it's a spoiler. And Babe would probably, she's not like a full-time reader, so she'd probably pick like Harry Potter, the Sorcerer's Stone. And Sarah reads nonfiction, which I don't really read, so I can't pick one out of my brain. Like a biography would be one of her favorites, like probably like a strong business lady. You know what? Lily Singh. And then Pilot would probably also read like a nonfiction, some musical artist thing. And Atticus would pick a YA novel. Oh, you know what? He reads a lot of like crime stuff, I feel like. So, and he also talks about that. So, spoilers. They're very minor, but like it's fun to read the titles.
Great. I think we can maybe take like 1 or 2 more questions. Yeah. Yes. Yeah.
Who are you pointing to?
Yeah.
Okay. Favorite bookstores? I mean, the Strand. I mean, they go to school in New York City, even though it takes place in London. So I think this would probably want to be one of Shane's favorite bookstores, and probably like McNally Jackson, and every bookstore ever.
Were there any in London?
Any in London? I mean, Waterstones. You know. Yeah, I'm only very familiar with Waterstones, so I can't pull out the London. I only went to Waterstones when I was in London. When I was there recently, I went to like 3 different bookstores in the area I was in, but I can't remember their names, so I'm sorry.
Okay.
It's a shame.
Maybe like 1 more? Yeah.
Which Friends characters would you associate?
Oh my God, so many association questions. Okay, so Chandler Bing for Shane. And then we have Monica for Babe, and then maybe Phoebe for Atticus. Yes. And then we have Pilot's a tough one. Like I want to say he's like I don't want to say Ross, but like I feel like Ross is the only character that like Ross and Chandler together. Like, and Sarah is a cross between like Monica and Ross. Yeah. She's the Gellers.
Right. I think that
I think that's it. Thank you guys so much for coming.
Thank you for being
really,
here.
really, really appreciate it.